Hello everybody and welcome to the Ozzimon Library. I apologise about the delay in video uploads, and of course if you haven't hit that subscribe button, join the wild pack and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because of course it does support the channel and all of that fun stuff. And today we have 3 Keyblades themed off of Marvel superheroes. This time, for the first time, we are going to go down the X-Men route. I have chosen 3 X-Men characters and given them their own Keyblades. So let's start off with the first one. Now, the first one was actually a challenge off of Cosplay Dude 67. Cosplay Dude 67, one of the members of the 3 Rainbow Studios, has quite often challenged me to some fun challenges, and he wants 2 individual Keyblades, both themed off X-Men characters, and this is one of them. Of course, his favourite character in the X-Men, and one of the people that he cosplays, is Gambit. So let's, of course, talk about Gambit's Keyblade. I'm going to go straight in and talk about the chain here. The chain, the keychain, is actually a little note that says, "Call me," and it's signed by Rogue, and it has 114637. 637 is a little nod to Cosplay Dude 67 himself, because obviously he is a fan of the channel, he is part of the 3 Rainbow Studios, and of course it's in the name Cosplay Dude 67. But the rest of the Keyblade, let's discuss. So when it comes to the handle, it is just a basic brown based off his trench coat, with the kind of like the guard being kind of similar to his chest piece and the portion of his leg guards. I kind of wanted some form of his suit symbolized there. We have an array of scattered aces across the crossguard there. The pole of the blade itself, the branch, the actual bridge of the blade, is of course themed off of Gambit's bow staff, because as we all know, Gambit uses bow staff. Now the top, the actual blade part, the bit that you whack some Heartless with, has some cards, and then an explosion in purple, because of course Gambit's ability is kinetic energy and it's explosive. And I really wanted to kind of capture that explosion, so it's not a massive explosion of course, but there's some purple there. Now of course when it comes to colours, the bow staff part of it, the bridge of the blade, will just stick to the average bow staff colour, and like I said, the actual handle is representing Gambit's outfit, with of course the scatter of the aces throughout the crossguard and then the very top of the Keyblade there. So here we have Gambit's Keyblade. I'm really impressed with this one. I'm really glad that I managed to get this done, and eventually this will show up in a 3 Ranger Bros Studios YouTube video when I'm a guest there, because I am a guest there now. Actually, my first guest video comes out very, very soon. So make sure you check out the 3 Ranger Bros Studios. I'll link them down below. And make sure you check them out, because I actually showed Cosplay Dude all 4 of the orange Rangers I've designed so far, the Zordon era Rangers I designed. And so make sure you check out the 3 Ranger Bros Studios, because very soon that video will be coming out. So, of course, let's move on to our second Keyblade. Our second Keyblade belongs to Wolverine. Now, I really just wanted to capture Wolverine here, so this is exactly what I did. The handle is a circle, and we have Wolverine's eyes from his mask kind of escaping from the handle itself, branching out of the hilt here, kind of making it into, like, just see the eyes themselves. A very iconic mask. Everyone lost their absolute marbles in Deadpool and Wolverine when he actually officially does put on the mask. It looks really good. It's a very iconic mask, I had to put that in there. The blue on the handle represents, of course, the blue on his shoulder pads in the iconic suit. The rest of the Keyblade is all yellow with some black little stripes throughout representing his outfit. The bridge of the blade is all yellow with some little zigzaggy bits which represent a part of his outfit as well. And then the actual attacking part of the Keyblade is Wolverine's hand, fist, shall I say, with the 3 claws, because of course Wolverine, that's his whole thing, he has 3 claws. So this Keyblade is obviously very, very out there. You can very much tell it's Wolverine, but that's kind of what I wanted. Wolverine is one of the most stable, everyone knows who Wolverine is. Deadpool and Wolverine was such a hit with Marvel fans. And of course, you know, his suit is very iconic. Everybody wants Wolverine in things. Everybody wants Wolverine in Lego games and fighting games and, you know, Marvel Rivals. He joined that as well, of course. He was in the main roster and things like this. He's just a huge X-Men character. And so, of course, when it came to his Keyblade, I had to make it just there. It had to be standout, and it had to be just a big, massive punch in the face. It needed to scream, hey, this is Wolverine's Keyblade. So, of course, the keychain is actually a beer bottle. I made it so it was a beer bottle, because obviously if you watch any of the Wolverine movies, X-Men movies, he always has some alcohol with him. But there is a little tidbit here that is very hard to miss. No, sorry, it's very easy to miss, but it's very hard to see. The tip of the beer bottle is actually blue, and that is the reference to the X-Men scene in X2 where Logan gives Bobby Drake, aka Iceman, the alcoholic beverage, and Iceman kind of blows on it to freeze it, so it's nice and chilled for Logan, and that's a little nod to that. Now, the third Keyblade, I actually tried something different. I actually tried two things with this Keyblade, so let me dive straight into the third one, that being Cyclops. Cyclops got the third Keyblade. I really had a really good idea here. So we start off with a nice circle for the handle, but the top half is actually the visor that Cyclops wears, and it's not head-on, it's from a bird's eye point of view. The handle itself that you hold is yellow with the X-Man logo kind of like at the top, where the handlebar and the circle bridge guard kind of meet. I wanted to represent, you know, the X-Men logo. Cyclops does have it straight on like his top of his chest by his shoulder, in his you know, cartoon comic book look, and I really wanted to represent that. The keychain is the Phoenix, because of course his love is Jean Grey, and of course, you know, that is, you know, one of the biggest Marvel couples in Marvel history, so I wanted to represent that. I also didn't know what else to give Cyclops, so I thought if I gave him the Phoenix, it would be kind of a nice little nod to, of course, his passion and his love interest. So the actual blade of the Keyblade is the Cyclops beam itself, coming from the Cyclops visor, and I designed it straight from Cyclops' beam from the comics, very inspired by like X-Men 97 sort of esque, and at the very top of the beam, it kind of like, it looks like it's made contact with something and it's bouncing off in different directions. Now, art style wise, there's two things I did different here. The beam itself isn't highlighted or drawn like I normally do. Everything that you see, everything that I draw, I start off with like a color like red or blue pencil, you know, sort of sketch, and then I either outline it or I go straight in with the main pen and I draw it in a different color, and then I change it to black, where with the beam, I didn't do that really. I did start off by highlighting it, but I think it looks better the way it does. It does have some shading around the edge, just so you can see it, with some glow effect to it, but it doesn't really have any outline, and I really enjoyed that. And the second thing that I did here as well is, looking at my reference picture for Cyclops, I noticed these lines going through his, like, certain parts of him, and it's a form of shading technique, and I thought I could capture that in this Keyblade. So if you look at the head, the visor piece, the headpiece for Cyclops that I've turned into the crossguard here, and the little X-Men logo as well, you can actually see these little lines going through it, and that is because I've copied the shading, and I thought it'd be really, really cool. And so yeah, that's kind of like what I did there. A little different in, you know, art technique here. I know I don't really talk about how I draw things, but I thought I'd at least mention it so you guys can see that I tried something different. And so here we go, here's Cyclops Keyblade. I really enjoyed this one. I think this one is my absolute favourite. I absolutely adore the way that I drew this Keyblade. It's just absolutely menacing. It looks really chunky, really big, and I know that it's really thick bladed, but we do actually have not many, but we do actually have a couple Keyblades where the blade of the, you know, the bridge of the blade itself is quite chunky, and it does look pretty thick. And so, yeah, I wanted also to make it very different to the other two Keyblades we have, because the other two Keyblades are very similar in just the way the blade is formed, you know, it's just something on the top that extends out to the left. So I wanted to at least kind of show off the different ways that Keyblade can be designed. So there we have it, 3 X-Men Keyblades that I created, of course, each one themed off a different X-Men. Now, I did do Power Rangers as well a little while ago, where I turned 3 Marvel heroes into Power Rangers, and I really want to do more of the Power Rangers and Keyblades here, where I'm designing and turning into Marvel DC heroes and either giving them a Keyblade or turning them into a Power Ranger. So this would be your chance to let me know when it comes to a Marvel character or DC character, who should I do next, either the Keyblades or the Power Rangers. Either one is going to be a continuous, sort of ongoing series here. I will be giving Keyblades to other characters that aren't Marvel and DC, some like, Pixar and Disney themed ones, because obviously, Kingdom Hearts is Disney and Pixar as well, some ones that we haven't seen before, giving Keyblades to other characters that aren't Marvel and DC, other video games, other franchises and things, but I really want to focus on Marvel and DC as well. So the next Keyblade and Power Ranger video where I'm turning superheroes into Power Rangers or giving them Keyblades will be DC related, because obviously I've done 3 Marvel heroes now as Power Rangers. Make sure you check out that video. And then of course I've given 3 X-Men here Keyblades as well. And I really want to give other I now want to give DC the same love and attention, but please do let me know which characters. It can be villains as well. We're going to include villains here, so make sure you let me know what villains and superheroes from Marvel and DC you want to see either get turned into a Power Ranger or get given a Keyblade. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And with that being said, let me know what you guys think of the 3 Keyblades we designed. Which one, of course, is your favourite? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And with that being said, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell if you guys haven't already, because it will show your support. And I do love you all, and I shall see you guys in the next video.